Welcome back, everyone. This is the second podcast of this channel, so thank you guys so much for watching podcast number 1 last week, the Southwick recap. Now, today I want to go over a little bit of a recap for the Redbud Pro National that we just watched, and I also just want to say thank you to everyone that was giving me all the feedback off of the last podcast video. Every bit of feedback is really helpful to me, and I definitely plan to take a lot of steps to fix and kind of just create a better environment for this podcast and future videos and whatever else you guys might want. So a lot of you guys mentioned the lighting. I know that the lighting got messed up only because of when I posted the video. For some reason, I think YouTube did something to the actual video, because originally I kind of fixed some of the lighting and the editing there, but definitely still want to fix the lighting a little bit here and there. I got to do a lot better on that, so I apologize there. And thank you again for that feedback. And for the background, I will definitely get some background stuff going up soon. Might be a little bit longer before we get there, but in the meantime, I will definitely work on the lighting and some, maybe post-editing and all that stuff. But anyway, all the feedback that you guys give me is super helpful, and please continue to give me feedback down the road because, like I said, it helps me, and I'd love to create just better videos for you guys and, better sound quality and everything. I think a lot of you mentioned that the sound was okay, so I'm glad to hear that. But, anyways, aside from all that, let's talk about Redbud. What a fun and exciting race every year. I absolutely love Redbud. I think it's probably my favorite Pro National. I think Washougal is a really fun one to watch because I think Washougal is such a unique track, and something about Washougal is very special. And I don't really know what it is, but it just feels so cool just to watch that race. But anyways, I do love Redbud. I feel like the fans are the craziest. It's 4th of July, the environment, the riders, they all get hyped up in a whole new manner, and I just really love Redbud. And I feel like this year's racing was incredible. Honestly, I thought it was awesome. And I don't think that I was disappointed at all. I think I was very happy and very satisfied to see where it took us and all the things that we got to witness. Before I dive into all the racing and I talk about certain riders or notable riders, I want to bring up one thing that I noticed that happened this past week, and that was Jet Lawrence. Jet Lawrence got hurt at practice at the dog pound that they train at all the time. I don't know what it is this year with thumb injuries, but thumb injuries have been just popping off left and right. We had obviously Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac going out for thumb injuries, and then now Jet Lawrence. And I feel like usually when we hear about injuries in our sport, we don't think of anywhere in our hands so much, mostly because there's usually major parts of our body that are taking us out for the rest of the season. Usually broken collarbone, torn ACL, MCL, whatever that, with your knees, your back. There's so many parts of your body that I feel like we are so used to seeing happen or at least get hurt in the sport. And the thumb is kind of the last place I was expecting to see it. But sure enough, that's 3 riders now that have been taken out. Now, I will say that speaking of the thumb injuries and riders, seems to me like Eli Tomac might be coming I think he's coming back at Budds Creek. That's at least what they're trying to shoot for. So we'll see. We'll see if that does happen. As for Jet, though, yeah, Jet's out for the season, which is a bummer for Jet because I was really expecting he was going to come home with a second championship for the 450 class within his first 2 years of racing. I know he was going to get a lot of pressure from his brother Hunter and Chase, but Jet, when it comes to winning, Jet is very skilled at winning, obviously. And I think he knew what it was going to take to win the championship. So I don't really think it was a far-fetched thought that he was going to come home with a second championship in a row. But at the end of the day, it is a part of the sport, and that's what Jet talked about in one of his posts on Instagram. Is it sucks, but it's a part of the sport, and it happens. So he's now out for the season, which makes for a different outlook in the 450 class. I think it also brings hope to a lot of riders in the 450 class, and I think it's going to bring a lot of fire from a lot of these guys. I think a lot of these riders are just going to flip a switch now, and I feel like we saw some of that this past weekend here at Redbud. So let's get into Redbud now. Sorry for all that tangent there, but let's get into Redbud 250 class to start us. Crazy race by Ty Masterpool. Ty Masterpool, one, I'm still shocked that I'm not shocked that he's a great rider and that he's doing well. I'm shocked that he can do that well, jumping from a 450 to a 250 and compete the way he's competing right now. I don't think a lot of people realize how tough it is to switch bikes, especially engine size, but to switch bikes entirely within no time. What was it, all year last year, this whole off season and everything else, he's been training on this 450. He's gotten so comfortable on it. He's gotten clearly in the place he needed to be. And then to just switch the day before the whole outdoor season starts to a 250, and not just any 250, it's a Pro Circuit Cowie 250. So they do everything different. And I know the factory bikes are phenomenal bikes. You're going to get like the top tier suspension, top tier engine, and so on and so forth. I get all that. But you're still making a change on a bike, from riding something that you got so comfortable on, whether it's kind of a piece of turd compared to the Pro Circuit Cowie, it's still something you're comfortable on. And then to switch all of a sudden and then to just be expected to do really well is really tough. And I think Ty Masterpool has done a phenomenal job with the change. Obviously, that first race at Fox Raceway, it was a little tough because, it's a brand new bike to him, and he only had 1 or 2 days, whatever it was, on the bike. So to see where he's at now, at this point in the season, it really makes me wonder if he'd had a chance to start training with them a few months before the season started, he would probably have results like he had at Redbud and at Hangtown. It's just, High Point. Forgive me. And it kills me, It really kills me. It's crazy to think. It's just crazy to think where he could be. He could have a fighting shot in this championship, I believe, right now, if that was the case. But, because of the situation, he's taking it incredibly well and he's doing things amazing. So his fight all the way to the end in that first moto was awesome. And Hayden Deegan was definitely charging in per Hayden Deegan style. I still can't get over his speed. He's just incredible as well. His talent on the bike, his speed, his skill, it's just very, very fun to watch, and it's very impressive. It's also so amazing to me to watch his talent of knowing how to conserve energy. And what I should say with conserving energy is he knows when he should push and when he shouldn't. And it's always funny. It's about when he's down in the, pack there, I don't know, middle of the pack or top 10 somewhere, but he's not top 3. You can watch his name on the side of the screen and you're thinking, well, he's not gonna be able to push all the way up towards a podium spot now, and there's about 15 minutes left. But the second it gets down to about 10 minutes, you watch, and all of a sudden his name starts moving up and up and up, and then also the seconds between him and the rider in front of him just keep dropping. And yeah, that's truly impressive, and clearly he showed it once again in that first moto, pushing towards Ty, but Ty held him off, and just a great race between those two all the way down to the end. That was awesome to watch. So 250 Moto 1 was a very fun moto to watch, just all out. And I find it funny that we always talk we were always talking about Hayden Deegan being like the send it guy. I'm just going to send it. No one ever talks about how Ty Masterpool sends it. I remember at High Point, Ty Masterpool was one of the first guys to launch this one jump that was into a corner. It was a roller that they were then tripling instead of like a double. He was the first 250 guy I was watching do it. You know, obviously Hayden Deegan and a few other guys caught on to it and started doing it, but I was like, no one's talking about that, you know, and that was something that kind of killed me. It's like, this guy is sending it, and he's always done that. I remember him doing that last year on the 450 as well, and he's definitely doing it this year on the 250. Pretty much at every race I've watched him, he launches that bike, and he's not afraid to send it. So 250 Moto 1 was awesome. 450 Moto 1, another fun one to watch. Absolutely crazy crash, though, for Hunter Lawrence. I think that did the toll on him for the day. He's not one to make very many mistakes, you know. Same with, obviously, his brother Jet. And it was just funny to me whenever it happened. It was one of those areas of the track where you just didn't think that would happen. You know, I don't know. I guess it can happen anywhere, but you know, once again, it was just he's so smooth and he's so fluent on the bike and very unlikely to go down. So watching him go down was very unfortunate because he had a very hard run there, and I think Chase and him would have duked it out all the way to the end. But Hunter definitely still had plenty of time to just grab the bike and finish off in second place, which is awesome for that 450 Moto 1. Great way to salvage that. And for Chase, that was a huge confidence booster, that first moto, because usually Chase is the one to do something like that. You know, Chase doesn't go down hard. I would say most of the time he doesn't go down hard, but he makes mistakes a lot. And you know, for him to see that happen and him to just keep going along and smooth sailing for the rest of the race, gotta say, it's kind of nice, right, Chase? You know, so I think that was a huge confidence booster for Chase, and I think that did a great job of leading into the second moto for the 450 class. Now, for the second moto for the 450 class, I think that, you know, with the bad start, Hunter had to work his way up a lot and kind of just work through the pain. I really think that that crash did a big toll on him for the second moto. I don't want to say it was end-all be-all situation, but he had one of those situations at his hand that was, hey, you could basically give up a championship here if you don't, you know, piece something together. And I think it was great work on his end to piece stuff together and come home with a fourth in the second moto and just get him to the spot that he needed to be. That's going to keep him and Chase close in these points for the overall. You know, I just think that the 450 class in general is going to start looking different now, obviously with Jet out. And so now this battle between Chase and Hunter is really going to get intense every single moto for the rest of the season. And there's a few other guys that are kind of starting to creep up, you know. Give them some time. Not saying they're 3 points out from these guys, but give them some time. A few more races and some mistakes from either Chase or Hunter, you might have a few more guys getting into this dogfight for the points for the championship. And I think that one of those guys is Aaron Plessinger. Aaron Plessinger is, I think, fourth in the points right now overall. And third place is Jet. So that Jet will obviously drop out of there because he's injured. So AP will move up here soon. And if he just keeps staying steady and keeps, you know, getting some good out of the gate jumps and getting some hole shots, stays holding up in the top 5 positions, he'll do just fine. And he'll make his way towards a fight at the end of the season, probably, for some points, for the championship. It is going to be a little bit harder to win for him, but there is a chance. And I know a lot of people were kind of dogging on him on the last podcast I had, saying he's never going to win a race. He's never going to get a championship in the 450 class, but you just never know. And when you're consistent and you're pushing hard, things can happen. And right now he's been consistent and he's been pushing hard and he's riding great, in my opinion. Look at him at Redbud. Got himself the second place spot overall. He was second in the Moto 2. It was just all around a great day for him. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big confidence booster for a few of these guys, especially Chase. I can't get over that. Chase Sexton going 1-1 on the day with a huge lead in the second moto, by the way. Those are all huge confidence boosters for Chase Sexton and, like I said, even Aaron Plessinger. But for Hunter, he's now in a little bit more vulnerable position, and it's not counting him out. It's just going to make it a little tougher for him because having his brother there, it was a little bit more attention was set on Jet, and Hunter could kind of sneak in through the back alley almost. But now all the attention's set on Hunter, and he's just gonna have to own it. And he's just gonna have to say, no more sneaking around. I am that dog, and I'm gonna win. So we're gonna have to see how that all plays out for the 450 class. Overall points for the 250 class, going off of the second moto for the 250 class. The second moto for the 250 class was good. It was very interesting. We had some different guys moving up and down. It was a lot of musical chairs, I guess you could say. People were kind of moving around a lot, except for Chance Hymas. And if you want to talk about a great day for someone, it's Chance Hymas having a great day. Chance Hymas had an awesome racing day, and he went out there and showed that he's got the speed. He's got that jump out of the gate. He can handle the pressure, and I think Chance Hymas is actually stepping up a lot compared to where he was last year. And I think there's a few other rookies that are going to do the same within the next year or two. But for right now, Chance Hymas showing that he's got a ton of speed, he's gaining a ton of confidence, and he's ready to put in some fights. He's ready to go. I'm very excited to see where things take him. I'm very excited to see where things take Ty Masterpool. And I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season plays out for Hayden Deegan as well, because right now Hayden Deegan still has a really good size lead in the points. He's still got some guys that want to go for his neck, I think. And I think he's got some guys that are trying to show him, we're not afraid of you. We're not afraid of anything. We're here to win, and we're going to take home some dubs, and we're going to try and come home with a championship as well. So I think that's great for the 250 class. It shows that there's a fight no matter what. And I think that Moto 2 for the 250 class was, like I said, just one of those more unique races where it was so much musical chairs going on and around all through the top 10. It felt like it was just going up and down, or changing here and changing there, and created a lot of just random excitement, honestly. And I just still can't get over this 250 class. I feel like they've truly been carrying the entire season, at least broadcast-wide for the fans, in my opinion. I think they've been carrying it. 250 class is just so fun to watch, in my eyes. And you look at, again, these guys that are coming in and out of that top 10 range or their top 5 range there, you're just looking at the names moving up and down, or changing here, changing there. You're thinking just about any one of these guys can really hold it down in the top 5, top 3 spot. And I think that's what makes that so fun. So it also, like I said, it also was interesting because Hayden Deegan, obviously he wasn't winning, but I saw a video clip on his Instagram page, and you guys can head to his Instagram page and take a look at the video of what I'm talking about. But there was a clip where apparently he was hitting this tabletop, and on the downside of the landing for the tabletop, there was a bike laying on the landing. And so he landed and immediately hit the bike, flipped over, got back up on his bike, and kept racing. And I'm 99% positive that's from Moto 2. And I think that's why the announcers were just confused, saying, he must have not passed so-and-so, or he must have gone down, or whatever or had bike troubles, whatever they thought happened. That's what happened. He crashed pretty hard and got right back up and kept pushing forward, which in my eyes is still impressive that he could move as far forward as he did especially after that crash. And it was just shocking that I didn't see that on the stream from Peacock or through the AMA or anything else. So anyway, now we're going to move on to the two notable riders of the week. The 250 class notable rider I'm going to stick with Ty Masterpool on this one, because Ty Masterpool really, really impressed me again. And I think that Ty Masterpool has really opened my eyes to what his future could be, honestly. When you watch him out of the gate every week, and this was the same as last year when he was on his 450 bike as a privateer, but look at it this year as well. He might not be the first guy out of the gate, but my goodness, when I say that he knows what to do to get into that first turn in a good position, out of those starts, he digs deep. And it's crazy. You'll see him leaning all the way off the bike. He's all the way off the bike, as far back as he can, pinned, all the way to about the apex of the turn. He waits to the very last second to hit his brakes going into that first turn. And when you talk about who wants it more coming out of that first turn, it's Ty Masterpool. And I'm telling you, last year he did the same in the 450 class. He did it, I believe, in Super Motocross there once or twice. I'm just saying, watch him when it comes to that first turn. That's why he's always in a great position out of the first turn. Just dead honest. So he was notable rider number one, just because, again, he's really impressing me. Notable rider number two for the 450 class is, I don't know his first name. I really messed this up. I don't remember his first name. Someone's going to have to help me here. But the last name, Webster, I believe Australian, correct? Webster, second pro motocross race, pulls the whole shot in the second moto of 450 class. It was starting to run away with it for the first few laps. And I know he got passed and everything, but I believe he got an 8th overall. I mean, that's pretty good. That's really good, in my opinion. There's a pretty stacked field in the 450 class, and second pro motocross race over here, and that's what you do. That's really good. So I got to give him credit for that, and I got to give him a shout out, because that's mad impressive. And someone's gonna have to help me, because I completely forgot his first name, like a moron that I am. So Webster from the 450 class, great job. Well done. Overall, another amazing weekend to watch some racing. Absolutely love Redbud. That is my favorite one to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the season goes, like I said, with all the circumstances that are in play for both classes. But anyways, there we have it. That wraps up the second podcast for Coventry Racing. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and for you guys subscribing, and for liking and commenting on the video. It means so much to me. And guys, I hope to see you soon. We'll talk probably next week for another recap. And if you guys have other topics that you want me to talk about, go ahead and comment it below. I'd be more than happy to do some other podcast episodes with whatever conversations you guys want to talk about. And eventually, we'll work our way up to getting some pro riders here on set, and we can talk with them and who else we can get in the industry. So thank you guys once again for joining for podcast number 3 of... Oh, I already messed that up. It's podcast number 2, not number 3. Anyways, thank you guys for joining podcast number 2 with Coventry Racing. Again, my name is Dylan. Thank you for watching.